Hi leaders, thanks for watching the Weekly Connect for this third week in August, the 19th and the 20th. This week we're going to be teaching the kids that God does not lie, and we're going to take passages from the book of Titus. So since we're talking about God's honesty, when you come in, we are going to have our craft, and we're going to be having the kids make a belt of truth. So each child will get one of these. They'll just need to color it and then cut out each individual piece. If you are teaching younger kids, you may want to cut those out ahead of time. Have some of your helpers come in a little bit early, or you come in early and just cut out some of that ahead of time. It's just a lot of cutting, but it's super simple cutting, just straight lines, and the coloring, of course, is going to be super easy. And then you'll just use some glue and glue them right on there. Then you'll have your hole punch, and you'll punch holes on the sides. You'll tie yarn or ribbon, whatever you have in there, and there is your belt of truth. You'll just tie it around the kid's waist. So this is what you're going to be making. Now down here at the bottom, it has a lot of verses here, and the copies didn't turn out so great because I made them bigger, but they were just so tiny it didn't turn out great. So I'm going to go ahead and send it along with the email. I'm going to send out these verses so that you can share those with your kiddos if they want to look up the verses. You can read what it says, you just can't read the address for the verse. So I will send that out in this email for you. So then after you're finished doing that, making all those belts, you'll go right into story time. And like I said, we're going to be learning from the book of Titus. So read over that book. It's fairly short. It's a short letter that Paul wrote to Titus, and it's really talking about sending him. Paul is asking Titus to go to Crete. And at the time, Crete is a really strange place to be. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people moving in and out of the area, so it's a great place to be spreading the word of Christianity. However, the people in Crete, the Cretans, were having a really hard time separating the Greek gods from the one true God. So although some of them were introduced and they were calling themselves as Christians, they were kind of morphing the Greek god of Zeus into the one true God. And for example, Zeus was very cunning, and people looked up to him because he was kind of sneaky. He was dishonest. He got what he wanted by tricking people. Well, we know that the true God, our God, is always honest, and he tells the truth, and he cannot lie. He's just always honest. So they were taking what they thought Zeus and what this characteristic that they thought was very admirable, which is being sneaky and lying, and they were saying that that's what our God was, and we know that to not be the truth. So that's really what we're going to be concentrating on this week with our lesson, is that God does not lie, and we're talking about truth and being honest, and that's what we're going to be teaching the kids. So read that over. It's written completely out for you. It's a little bit long in your curriculum, so if you need to shorten that to work in your time, or if when you read Titus you find something else that you'd like to talk about, go ahead and change that. Let's just make sure that we stay on the point that God does not lie. And then we're going to go to worship and offering as always, and then our blessing this week is from John 17:17. Sanctify them by the truth. Your word is truth. And then there's a short written out blessing for you to pray over the kids. You have your review questions when you break back out into your after story time. And then you're going to do an activity with the kids called Two Truths and a Lie. So if you've never played this before, it might be a little bit confusing for the younger ones. So we have a different activity. It's written out in your curriculum as well. But for older kids, probably 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, you will want to choose a kid to start and have them pick 2 things about them that are the truth, and then make up something that's a lie and kind of intermingle in it. So they're not always saying the 2 truths first and the lie last, because then obviously the kids will know exactly which one's the lie. So maybe they say a lie and then 2 truths, or put the lie in the middle, however you want it. My daughter's looking at me because she thinks it's ridiculous I'm explaining this to you. But just in case, if you've never played this before, you know how to do that. So you're going to explain to the kids that they need to tell 2 things about themselves that are true and 1 that's a lie, and what they're trying to do is be sneaky and have the kids try and pick which one is the lie. So you can always start that out about yourself and say 2 truths and a lie about yourself if that helps out. Now, if you have younger kids, you might want to make this a little bit simpler for them. I know some of our first graders they just seem so young right now this time of year. You might want to just stand up and say 3 things about yourself. Like, I have curly hair, I have green eyes, and I'm wearing a purple shirt. And then obviously they can see that my shirt is black, something like that. And you can play like that and then have the kids take turns doing that. Just make it a little bit more simple. And then when we go back to prayer time, you can just read the prompt that's in here to help out with your prayer time. And then, of course, if you have more work, we have Bible work, which we're going to be going over Acts next week and just doing a recap since it's the end of our study on Paul and his letters. We're going to just do an overview of Acts and all that Paul had written. So that's what we're doing this week. If you have any questions, if you need any help with anything, go ahead and ask your campus director, or you can email me as well. And thank you so much. Happy preparing and happy teaching.